Behind the Shades.
What was harder for you to do? Create the boundaries, enforce them, or maintain them, and why?
It was really easy for me to create the boundaries. It wasn't always easy to keep up with it because there's that voice inside my head being like, "Oh no, business, business, there's something to do. Just keep going, just keep going." And so sometimes I will think work is more important and like keep typing or like keep reaching out to people. And I'm like, no, I should be on my way to the gym right now. So I think I still can get swept up in all the work that goes behind running a business. And so I think I just have to kind of check in with myself and I'll be like, hey, wait, no, we're going back to old habits here. So I think it's important to have the awareness as to, what are the habits you want to build and what are those habits that prevent you from doing that, and how to recognize when you're on one side versus the other, and then not placing judgment on yourself, but just kind of recognizing, oh yeah, that's the old way and we got to go back to the new way. Get in the car, let's go. Close the computer down.
I know for me, it was hard for me to determine what type of balance and what I wanted that balance to look like. And I'll give you an example. When I first started out, um, it was just my cell phone, a tripod, and good weather. So anytime I checked the weather and it was sunny outside, I knew that I had to do an interview. So I'd call up Jennifer, like, Jennifer, we got to film today. We can't film any other day because if it rains, it snows, I couldn't do it. But what I found was, as to your point, I was dedicating so much time where there are certain things I was forgetting to do. I was forgetting to have 3 meals a day. I was forgetting to go for my walks. I was forgetting to go to the gym. I was forgetting to interact with people that I want to interact with. And you always hear, at least it's always put into your face, especially online, where when you start something that you're going to own, they say that 12 hours, 14-hour days. Like they just make up these shifts and you're like, oh my God, I'm only going to sleep for 2 hours. I'm only going to see my wife or my husband for an hour and I'm never going to eat. But if you can figure it out, and ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, Google Calendar became like my wife. Wherever I go, Google Calendar follows me, right? So I say that because I didn't have the initial health struggles that you did when you first started, but I was still finding it somewhat difficult to navigate and maintain. As you look back, Jennifer, of all that you went through, did you know that you were always going to be in this position, or was there some doubt given everything that you've gone through in your past?
I wouldn't say that there was any doubt, but I know I can be hard on myself. So when I do resort to things like, skipping workouts or eating something that's not the best for me, I can place a little bit of not judgment, but I can be kind of harsh on myself as to like, hey, you are supposed to be helping someone. You shouldn't be doing these things. You're not living your truth. You're not in alignment. What if someone knew this? Like, what if your clients knew you're doing this, right? But at the same time, I think it's important to be open about this kind of the kind of struggles that come with this, because then it's more relatable. And I think there is some power in showing clients that, hey, I struggle with this too, because coaches are almost the most I'm trying to think of how I want to articulate this. When coaches are doing the work and in the trenches with you, it becomes a lot more relatable and you can see, oh wow, they're doing that too. They're living it, they're breathing it. So the trust is just opened up, and then clients aren't as hard on themselves when they fall off track, because they're like, well, Jennifer falls off track too. And of course, I don't want to fall off track all the time, but hey, she knows how we can get out of this faster, right? So I think there is some beauty in falling off track and being open about that with my clients, because again, they'll feel a little bit more connected and they won't feel like I'm judging them for when they fall off track.
Is that human side something that you believe benefits the overall experience between the coach and the client?
100%. Again, it creates that know, like, and trust, where it's like, okay, well, Jennifer isn't gonna, I won't be afraid to tell Jennifer if I fall off track, because she understands, she's going to be able to relate to that. So because sometimes clients can feel like embarrassed or ashamed of falling off track, and they might not want to share that information. But the more they're able to open up and communicate about those kinds of challenges, the better I'm able to help and support them and help them to continue moving forward. So it definitely does, from both sides, from both the client and the coach. It makes a better connection overall and makes a better experience for the client, for sure.
When I was working with a mentor, and one of the things that they opened up with was they definitely show that human side. They said that I have similar struggles, and they would list them. I think some people get into this idea, especially maybe on the personal trainer side, like at the gym, that they want the person to be like Arnold or Mr. Olympia, right? Where you want this person who's carved out of granite and is the perfection that, or at least the idea of perfection that you want. And I think sometimes, as I work with the women that I work with at the charity of physically and mentally abused women, is there's that relatability. Because I would find, I would argue, and I found that for you to trust someone that maybe doesn't look like you, doesn't walk the type of life that you have, there's going to be some vulnerability there, and you would have to open up. How vulnerable do you get with your clients, and how vulnerable do they get with you during the whole process?
I'm a very open book, so I am really okay with sharing challenges I've gone through. Or if a client comes to me with a concern, I will be like, "Oh, I've been through something similar," or this just happened to me last week." And this does create that safe environment for clients, and they do open up and they do get vulnerable and they do share whatever else is going on. And I'm always there. I'm there to listen. I'm there to just let them vent it out. And it just as to me, I can see that they feel safe enough to share these kinds of challenges with me. And I think that comes from me being so open about my own challenges, for sure. So it creates that mirror of them being able to say, oh, okay, I can share this information. And again, I do think it does take coaching to another level, because when I'm able to understand what that person is going through on a personal level, I'm able to empathize and I'm able to offer some compassion. And, maybe homework is not done 100% that week. And I'm able to say, oh, okay, well, obviously they have this other issue going on. So let's meet them where they are. And I think it's really important, because as a coach, I'm not that army sergeant where I'm like, oh my gosh, why isn't this done? Why isn't this done? Of course, there is a side of me that can come out with that if it's needed. But I think it's important to recognize that sometimes that might be the last thing a client needs. And so, yeah, I think it is important to be able to use your intuition to recognize when the client needs which coach part of you and when, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. I didn't picture you as one to be slamming the doors, get the belt, and slapping the hands of your of your clients, but I'm pretty sure that that may work for some people. And when you saying that, it made me flash back to when I used to take spin class in the gym. And for those who know spin class, it can be pretty tough. And I remember the woman instructor, she used to yell like, "Get up, get down!" Right? She was very authoritative when she said that. And I'll never forget the day where I don't know if she was joking or not, because she has such a serious face, where she says that some of you guys are going to die on this bike. And it was so shocking, because as like a coach who's trying to coach people through this was like years ago, but as a coach who's trying to coach people through trauma, if you were to say something like that, they might get triggered, right? They might relapse into the situation that they're trying to escape from. And I know that you help them through the personal development piece as well. Is there like a guidebook or a step-by-step process that you help them through, or take us through how you get them to self-identify and to progress during the professional development piece?
Yeah, the first step would be getting clear on their values and what values are the most important to them. And I even do this with myself, is understanding what are those 5 key values that I want to live in alignment with every single day. And sometimes I can fall out of alignment with them, just like my clients. So I think it's important to get clear on what those values are, and then to grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best.